In this video, I'm going to teach you pro park tips that I use every day in order to go and ride the park with confidence and style. Every time you go and hit a rail, you want to go and extend your legs and do something called catching it. This is just lessening the impact, because if you go and pop up and slam straight, you're not going to have any of that control. So we want to add a little bit more bend to our legs, and that lets us go and meet the rail and catch it, lessening the impact. You actually do this every single time you're jumping, and that's just slightly meeting the landing, because that's going to extend your range of motion without balancing you. So every single time you hit a feature, make sure that you're going and popping up, meeting your legs down to it a little bit. That's helping you absorb the impact. But when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not going and straightening your legs completely straight, because that's going to jam you in your legs, feel bad on the knees, and potentially buck you off. Keep a little bit of bend in your legs, but still go and meet that rail, because it's going to really help smooth out the impact. When hitting rails, you want to keep your head as level as possible, because if you go and have your head moving, that means your body's moving, and if your head's like shifting, looking around, it's going to disconnect you, make you lose control. So whenever you're hitting a rail, try to keep your head in the most stable point as possible. Think of like a camera steady cam, where it just goes, and I'm just trying to keep my head in that most stationary point. Up and down, my head isn't moving. Think of a chicken. You move that chicken around, her head stationary. That's how we're trying to be on every rail. Every time you hit a rail or a box, you're going to be jumping sideways onto it. And if you go sideways onto a rail, it's going to create something called sideways momentum. And to stop sideways momentum, we do something called hitting the rail angled. So this is hitting the rail slightly on the side to kill that momentum. Not very noticeable on a 50-50, but on something like a backside board slide, it's way more noticeable. By going and hitting the side of a rail, it stops your sideways momentum and lets you go and fully control the feature. If you don't do this, you're just going to slide off the far side, and it's not going to let you lock in. So every time you're doing a board slide, 50-50, even if it's subtle, make sure you're hitting the rail slightly angled towards the side that you're taking off from. A lot of people are scared getting onto rails or board slides, and this makes them go and jump up over the rail, but this is going to disconnect you. What you actually want to do is stay nice and crouched and get onto the rail in this stack position, nice and stable. We don't need to go and pop a lot, we can just stay stable, rotate through, and that'll give us plenty of flow. So stay stable, stay straight, rotate into your board slide, and by going and not adding this up and down plane, it lets us enter our board slide position way easier. So when you're board sliding, don't go extend, jump, then rotate, because that's going to leave your torso loose and weak. Instead, hold your confident position, ride off the end of your tail, and from there, just counter rotate into that board slide position. And I'm telling you, it makes it way easier. Power in your snowboard doesn't come from a fast, quick motion. Instead, it comes from going and channeling your range of motion nice and smooth throughout, and that's going to give you so much more power. So on a cab 2, I'm just going to try to keep everything as smooth as possible. It's by maintaining your upper body's rotation throughout the feature into the end that you can take all this power. How the hell am I going to hit this switch? Ah! Oh my god. So whenever you're rotating, think of being smooth, channeling that energy, and continuing momentum going. By holding your spot uphill, locking in that blind landing position, it's going to let you fully disperse your rotational momentum, letting you go and lock in that toe edge and not slipping out to heels. So if you're struggling with landing your blind landing tricks, focus on holding that blind landing longer than feels comfortable, because it's going to help a million. If you go and hit something with sideways momentum, that momentum is going to carry you all the way off. This is why it's really important to take as straight of an angle as you can into the feature, because by keeping a straight angle, you're going to minimize your sideways momentum. There's things you can do to stop your momentum, like catching the rail, landing angled, but by limiting your angled approach, it's going to make it so you have to do way less to kill that momentum, making it way easier to lock in and slide to the end of any feature. Whenever you're riding the park, you want to maintain a little bit of bend in your legs and a little bit of forward lean in your upper body. This keeps you balanced and in control and lets you go pop up, get wild with it, have fun with it. So every time you're in the park riding, try to keep yourself a little bit bent, a little bit forward, because I'm telling you, it's going to make a world of difference. Because if you go ride too tall, too straight, you're going to be flat-faced, unbalanced, susceptible to falling. But as you go and keep that little bit of hinge, little bit of bend, even as you pop from keeping that little bit of bend, that's how you get control, that's how you get style, and that's how you make park riding truly fun.